G'day everybody, welcome to Greens and Gains. Come and join me and my mate Lee. I'm a physio, 3-part wizard and golf addict. And Lee is a PGA pro, a rugby league degenerate and an absolute freak on the golf course. Greens and Gains is two blokes having a chat about how to improve your golf game and feel better about yourself. Why don't you come and join the fun?
Well, good morning, everybody. Monday morning, Greens and Gains. Lee Hunt, Tom to Jersey. G'day, Tommy. How are you today, mate?
Hello, mate. I am so well. I've had a wonderful week. And a little bit later on in today's podcast, we have a special guest. So I'm super excited. How are you? How's your week, mate?
Mate, had a great week. Thank you. No dramas at all. A little bit of rain today, but I've had a good week so far. Thank you. What about you? Did you play some golf?
It's so funny. It's so funny. Every week you comment on the weather, and I forget that you're a golf pro.
Yeah, golf pros live by the
your
weather,
week
mate.
revolves around.
Yeah.
It's just, I never, when somebody asks me how my week was, I never talk about the weather.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing I just noticed.
Yeah. No, Rain Parrot is probably the best app known to man. But there you go. Useless information you don't need.
I like it.
Yeah.
Now, you asked me if I play golf this week. I have.
Yes.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. Well, you and I have a recap to do. How many double bogeys did Tommy make? And how many hours of sleep did Lee Hunt get?
Oh, exciting.
So we're going to get into that a little bit later.
Yep.
But first, a word from our sponsors, OnCourse. So OnCourse Golf is your number one destination for all of the new 2025 new releases. OnCourse have you covered. They have the most up-to-date equipment to help take your game to the next level. Whether you're upgrading your bag or just curious about what's hot this season, OnCourse have all the top brands and the insider info to help you make the best choice. And don't forget, you can get a free fitting included on all of the major 2025 products. Purchase from the people that know the game best, PGA professionals. To do so, visit oncoursegolf.com.au today and get a sneak peek at what's coming in 2025. So thank you, OnCourse.
Thank you, OnCourse.
Your continuing support.
There you go.
All right, my friend. Welcome. Step inside the pro shop with me. I come to you today with some questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Hit me.
Okay. This comes from Devo from the Heads Golf Club. He wants to know, Lee, are you a rake in or a rake out of the bunkers kind of guy? Can you please explain the logic of both?
Well, I'm a rake in guy. The reason I'm a rake in person is because I don't like the idea of hitting a rake that's on the side of the bunker and kicking me into the bunker. I understand that sometimes you'll get lucky and the rake will stop you going in the bunker, but I'm a rake in guy. I know at my club they're rake out, but I did ask the question once upon a time to the club captain when I first started at Bankstown, asked why there's no rakes in the bunker, and he scolded me basically and said, Lee, you should know this, you played. There's never rakes in the bunkers on tour. Then I had to explain to him that that's because most of the time there's people helping out in the event holding the rake. That's why there's no rakes in the bunkers. But anyway, that's I'm a rake in person, not a rake out. So, what about you, Tommy? Now, you in or out?
Well, I have another question.
Oh, okay.
Is it like rake in the? Because I played at a couple of clubs in the last 6 months. Is it rake in the middle? Is it rake just lobbed back in there wherever it'll fit? We played the other day at the Aussie, beautiful course, and they have a little T line spray painted where you lay down the handle of the rake with the rake part in the bunker. I quite like that.
I like that.
What's
I
your
think
preference?
if I had a preference, I don't mind that. It's I noticed that myself the other day. I've also played at courses where they've got like a sprinkler box where you put the rake inside the sprinkler box, so you get it out of the sprinkler box. Cool. Yeah. But I like that little T because it is quite annoying when people throw the rake back in the bunker and dig up a hole when it lands if they don't place it back at the bottom of the bunker. But the most important is you got to rake it.
Totally. I played somewhere where it was the rakes in the bunkers, and the bunkers were massive. And a couple of times I was in like the wrong half of the bunker, And the rake was lobbed into the bunker so far that you had to rake after you went in to get the rake. It was absurd.
Yeah.
It was completely ridiculous.
That's annoying. That is annoying. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I like, Devo, to answer your question, I think Lee is a raking person. I think I am the same. I like having it like a designated spot for it on the edge. I think that's the way I would do it.
I'm with you on that, Tommy. Yeah, yeah. Well, a good question though, Devo. Good question.
Love that. And then Devo has a follow-up question. I don't know if this is allowed, but we're going to let it slide. He also wants to know, what's your view about gender-neutral teeing areas and/or playing from different tees during a competition round to cater for golfers of varying abilities? Handicaps obviously reflect the tee being used. What do you think, Lee?
I like it from a player's perspective. From a person working in the pro shop's perspective, when someone comes in and you do that, you give people the option. The first thing they say is, well, what are the rest of the group doing? Yeah, so then they have to walk back out and walk back in and walk back out and walk back in. So I understand that. It would be nice if everybody could tee off from the same markers. Like if you had a group of 4 and one person's off the plates, one's off the blue, one's off the whites, and one's off the forward reds, I could see how that would be a little bit disjointed. But I like the idea of making this game more playable. And keyword is playable, not easier, playable. So, yeah, I like the idea of picking your own tee. And gender neutral, well, we're in that world now, I think. So,
yeah, I think so. I think they're just called the forward tees now rather than the
yeah,
what they used to be called.
Yeah.
I played at a golf club that allowed this, Gardeners Run Club down in Victoria. They were very kind. They had me out when I was down there for the On-Course Awards dinner a couple of months ago. And out there you can choose whatever tee you like, right? Loved it. Awesome. Really cool. However, I did exactly what you said members do. I played with 2 blokes. The guy in the pro shop said, what tees would you like to play? And I just said, what are the guys I'm playing with playing?
Yeah.
So that was nice that our group, we played together. We ended up playing the front tees and had an absolute blast. It was awesome. Really cool idea. My one caveat or add-on to that would be, I don't know how, Devo, that would work with comp, right? I don't think a 1-shot difference from the front tees or the 2 shots from the front tees at Bankstown versus the back tees at Bankstown. Where I play, I know you get an extra 2 shots. I think it's probably easier to have 36 on the white tees than it is from the black tees. So from a scoring comp standpoint, I think everybody would probably just play the easier tee box because I don't think you actually lose the right amount of shots for the amount.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's a balancing act.
Yeah,
I think
totally.
We're very much in this infancy of doing this at golf clubs, and I know we want to make the game more playable for everybody and more inclusive. So I think we're trying to go the right way with this, but there's certainly some teething issues. I understand how some people would feel they've lost their identity on a golf course, whether that be the men or the ladies. I get that. Totally empathise. Yeah, it's a difficult one. The clubs are moving that direction, so that's great. Let's make it more playable. Let's get more people playing the game. That's important. And I think the terracotta tees at Barnbougle or Lost Farm are the most fun you play at that golf course, and they're all the way forward. So you don't have to play all the way back to enjoy the course. As long as the course is a good design and designed properly, I don't think it matters what tee you go off.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think somebody said to me the other day they're playing midweek with me on a Tuesday, and they were saying that the white tees was really easy. And I was like, oh man, it's not easy. It's just different. It might be easier. You might shoot a couple of shots better. Golf's still hard, man. I played a pitch and putt course the other day. Didn't break par.
Something that you play over 5 kilometres isn't easy.
Yeah,
there is some variables in the game. They might be easier.
I never thought about it. Over 5 kilometres.
It's a game of millimetres played over kilometres, Tommy. Golf.
Oh, that's good.
You can use that.
I love that.
Yeah, you can use that.
Yeah, I love that. That you didn't think of that yourself, did you?
No, that's not original.
Okay, enough about tee boxes. The next thing I need to ask you, I have a like it, don't like it question for you. My favourite segment of the week. because sometimes you, Lee Hunt, have strong opinions, and I really truly think you're going to have some strong thoughts about this. Jumbo Max grips. Do we like it? Do we not like them? Talk to me.
Well, I haven't tried them until, funny you say that, today. I had a club fitting with a gentleman, lovely bloke, swings it a lot quicker than me, and he had Jumbo Max on his driver. He came for a driver fitting or a shaft upgrade fitting. And I got to say, I liked it. I didn't think I would.
Quick question.
Yes.
Quick question. Did you hit one with them? Don't tell me where it went. I think I know.
No, I didn't hit one with him. So I like the feel of it, but I think I would struggle to release the club head in it. But
I was going to say, a mate of mine has them.
Yep.
And he'll let someone hit one. He's like, oh, go on, hit one. Almost everybody shanks the first one.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, it really does take the hands out. I was that intrigued. I went back to the golf shop, and I went to the supplier, and there's like 5 different sizes of them, of these Jumbo Max, the company.
Yes.
So yeah, they're great. If someone's really struggling with, they've got a hand issue or carpal tunnel, or this is sort of in your area, Tommy, I guess, but I can see the benefit of it. I know Bryson DeChambeau, he uses them, I believe. He goes okay at golf. So
totally.
Yes.
So just quickly on hands and hand injuries and grip.
Mm-hmm.
The wider the circumference, I'm going to use a word here that may make people squirm. The girth. If it is thicker, it's actually going to be harder to grip because your hands are more open. So if you are weak, a narrower grip would actually be easier. Or if your grip strength is impaired,
there you go.
The thicker grips are actually harder to hold, believe it or not.
Well, there you go. Well, I didn't know that, Tommy. That's why you were on the pod.
They get a little bit of a clinical gem.
I like it though. There you go. I like it.
Yeah, cool. I hate them. I used them once. It was awful.
Yeah,
I missed everything. I just hit mega push fades.
I'm never going to use them myself, but I like the idea. I like the concept.
Yeah, I reckon if you had a player who couldn't stop hitting hooks and they couldn't stop throwing the club sharp.
Yes.
I reckon it'd be a cool way to bridge them towards a straighter ball flight, maybe.
Yeah, 100%. Yep, less rotation.
Get them back over onto team push fade.
Push fades.
That's it. Okay, now, my friend, we need to quickly have a conversation about what I saw online this week.
Oh.
Did you catch any of the TGL?
Yes, loved it.
Loved it.
Yes, I loved it. I watched it live. No, I wasn't there, but I watched it on TV live.
I can't believe you got to America. Back this week. That's crazy.
That's things we do for research. I loved it. I've got a friend who is a pod listener, an older gentleman. Let's call him Gary from Concord. He's a member of the Palms Golf Studio. Now, Gary's in the business of entertainment. Had a very successful sitcom that I think it's Australia's longest running ever sitcom that he produced and wrote. And I was talking to him about it, and he had some really good input. He watched it himself, and he said it was really good, but they need to get a couple of writers in because they need a villain. They need they need to let the talent talk. So he was saying that the music was a bit loud and you couldn't hear the players talk. Totally. The minutia behind all that, he was the text he sent me about it was brilliant, and you can see why he's such a star in his field. But it would be great to hear the golfers talk a little bit more and entertain a little bit more. But he said probably need to get them a few writers and get a bit of a storyline going on. And we need a villain and you need a hero. And I liked it though. I thought it was fun. I know that the Palms has been inundated with people wanting to come down and check out the indoor sim setup. So it's obviously people are watching it, shining a light on what we do.
Totally. I can't wait for the basement level of the Palms to go in with the 400-foot rotating green. That's going to be awesome.
Oh, how much fun would that thing be? They struggled on it though. They struggled on that grain.
Yeah. My questions, I suppose, about TGL from a consumer standpoint is like I didn't watch. I watched some highlights. It was interesting-ish. I have a few key things I wish they'd had done. One, I wish they'd let Shane Lowry drink. I think that would have been hilarious. I just think that would have added so much to the event.
I think he wanted to.
And then oh mate, there's one point where he swore on camera and Ludwig kind of turned around and looked at him and Shane looked very sheepish and that was just classic.
Yeah.
The other thing, my major question about TGL is I don't know how they're going to make it matter. And what I mean by matter is I don't know how you convince these guys to take it like super seriously and treat it like a tour event. Because I think that's what we will want from it eventually. I don't really want to watch them muck around, I don't think.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you. 1 million people watched. 1.1 million people tuned in, apparently. So apparently that's good. It's popcorn. It's popcorn. Okay. It's a bit of fun. It's a bit of entertainment. It was very American, but it was a bit of fun, I didn't mind it.
I love it.
Well, I'm not going to watch it every night, but it was only an hour and a half, so it wasn't that hard to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's not a weekly watch.
No, I'm with you on that.
Yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, one other thing I saw online this week was the winner of our FootJoy Prems giveaway to design the pair of my joys I will be ordering.
Can we just say there were so many people that sent in creative shoes for Tommy.
I had over 50 entries. So thank you so much for sending things in.
That's a lot. That is a lot.
My inbox is... and sorry, that's over 50 individual entries.
Yeah.
Blake Nolan sent me almost 50 himself. So shout out to Blake, you absolute fiend.
Blake, you spend way too much time on the computer, mate.
We need to put some sort of FaceTime sort of limit on that.
I wonder what Blake does for a living. He's probably unemployed or something. Sits at home and does nothing. Just
okay. Enough of that. Enough teasing Blake. Now we have a winner. Can you describe the shoe for me? Can you talk about what?
Oh yeah, you did say. I only just saw this, so you just sent this to me, and this is the one you picked. Okay, so the shoe itself, it's a beautiful FootJoy Prem, white, and it's got like a light blue, like a Cronulla Sharks blue and green saddle, like a deep green saddle with a little bit of the Cronulla Sharks. And then I've only got one side of the shoe. It's called Gains, Gains in green. Yep.
Has greens.
I'm assuming greens. Yeah. Oh, greens
because you can't do plus and you can't do and.
Oh, greens and gains on the shoe. I think.
Greens and gains.
And this is a shoe that you've picked yourself, Tommy. I've had no input. So because I would have gone the cane shampoo.
I was so tempted to go for the black and yellow.
There were some really ugly ones.
There were some seriously ugly ones.
Yeah, I wanted to go the ugliest shoe for Tommy, but I didn't get to pick.
You
Tommy.
very graciously let me pick.
Well, you've got to wear them. What's important to me is that you keep them clean.
How do I do that?
I don't know. Wet rag. Yeah. So who's the winner?
If you're listening
who put
along,
these in?
If you've been listening along, you probably know by now. But Clayton from Manly West, congratulations.
Oh, Clayton from Manly West. Getting a new pair of FootJoy Prems.
FootJoy Premiers. So, Clayton, we will need to know what shoe you like, what size you like, and we will need an address, please. So please send that on through to us.
And a big thank you from FootJoy, Andy from FootJoy, for getting behind the pod. And that was a lot of fun, Tommy. And we've got you some new shoes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be posting some highlights. I'll be posting a collection of what was submitted. And you can let me know if I've chosen the wrong thing and we can have a laugh about it.
Yes.
There were so many. And thank you all for joining in the fun and submitting some things to us. That was awesome.
Well done, Clayton.
There'll be more giveaways coming. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yes. Well done.
All right. On to the next, my friend. We need to talk about some new gear that we saw this week.
Oh.
And I hit arguably the 5 greatest iron shots of my life in a row this week, didn't I? It was unbelievable.
So for people who would probably have watched that on the socials, Tommy,
Yes.
hand on heart, there were no replays. You striped basically 4 to 5 irons in a row. I don't think I've seen you like you just striped them. Absolutely.
I've never hit the ball like that before.
Arrow straight, and then you've complained about one of them you hit. It moved about 6 feet left to right. It was a lot of fun.
The full video is coming to YouTube, and it will be uncut, and you see all 5 shots in a row. I was genuinely terrified over the 4th and 5th shot because I'd hit the first 3 so good. And normally when I get nervous, I hit it terribly. So it was really cool to see it go well.
So that's a new Mizuno S3 iron that you hit. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct.
Yes.
I have a serious crush on that iron. I might need to buy some flowers.
Flowers would be bought for your lovely morphs. Yes.
Yeah, look.
And they come in black.
There might be some flowers.
And they come in black?
They don't. So there's
that
another.
was the other ones.
We hit another iron, a JPX.
Whoops.
Yeah, we hit another iron, the JPX forged.
Yep.
They were beautiful. They come in a black. They're a little bit bigger head, and the head is a little bit longer, and the top line's a bit thicker. I didn't hit them as good, which I found quite interesting. But they come in this like beautiful, like black satin finish. And I really liked how they looked over the ball.
So for those who are listening, Tommy got fit. We had James, the Mizuno specialist, come down and fit him at the palms and go through the whole process. So
James from Sylvania
Waters. And so James did a wonderful job, and we recorded the whole thing. And so it's definitely worth a watch, and because it's so thorough the way Mizuno goes through and fits you up, and it's what we do every day, obviously, at the Palms. But it was great to have James down there and help him out and get him to fit you up with a new set of irons. I think you're going to have to buy flowers, Tommy, because you can't hit the ball better than that.
Yeah, it was one of those like, oh, holy hell, why did we do this moments. I was like, this is going to cost a lot of money.
It proved a point about I thought you were in a shaft that wasn't correct for you. And without giving too much away, people need to watch, because it was a really good experience for Tommy, and it proved a point. And it wasn't about proving a point, was it, Tommy? But it was about saying there are other options out there. So
yeah, and you'd kind of planted the seed and said, hey, I think this doesn't quite work for you. And I was like, okay, let's investigate. And lo and behold, we got a very different answer to what I'm currently in, which was really cool.
Yes. It's definitely worth the watch.
Absolutely. Okay, I have one more question for you, and then we're going to jump into how our weeks went with our New Year's resolutions, okay? So this comes from Mark Blake from Renwick. He sent us an email, and this is a question I've pulled from the second half of his email. It's the conclusion, okay? So if I'm going to start by saying finally, and it's the first thing you'll hear. It might be weird, but it's the end of an email. Finally, open brackets, and this may be just the beer talking at this point, close brackets. Could you combine the Greens and Gains trip away with the Virtual Club Championship? One, no, because the Virtual Club Championship is virtual, but I understand what you're saying
virtual.
Here, Mark,
yes,
and I'm with you.
Yes. Yep.
I remember it being mentioned in a podcast. Could we create the Greens and Gains Open? Maybe something like 4 teams compete in a 3-day tournament. Day 1, 4-ball Stableford. Day 2, break teams into pairs to play 2-ball Stableford against another team, and the final day, single Stableford, with players teeing off in order based on their previous 2 days of scores. I'm not sure if this would be possible or not, and it would depend on numbers of players attending, but I'm interested. Mark Blake from Renwick. So, Mark, fantastic question. Lee, could the golf
I love that, Mark.
Could this be the Greens and Gains Open? Is this how we do our club champ?
I think it's that's almost like a Ryder Cup setup, isn't it? Like a mini Ryder Cup setup.
You award an individual winner.
Yeah, you get a winner, but it's I think Mr. Blake, Mark, certainly, I think he's on the money. I think we need to do this. I think we need to get down to Barnbougle, get this happening, Tommy.
Get this show on the road. Now,
Yeah.
Have we decided on a date? We need to pick some dates. We need to get this go.
We need to get a date. We need to get a date. The people want to go. We want to do it. I want to do it. I think it's a great idea, Tommy. You think it's a great idea, Tommy. There's lots of good golf courses we could go to. All of our listeners think it's a great idea. So basically, we just need to get our bums in the gear and let's organise it.
Okay, so there are two proposed weekends, right? Or two proposed sets of dates. We're looking at June and we're looking at October, right? We will post a story this week with the two sets of dates. You will vote. We will then respond accordingly to said vote. How does that sound?
I like that. I just want everybody, this might be my vote, to Google what the weather's like in Tasmania in June. I'm just going to leave that there.
You're a coward. Look,
oh my God.
Can you tell I just want to get back there sooner? I'm eager. Anyway,
just because you went to Tasmania in June and it was good weather for the first time in 150 years. Anyway, let's do that.
July is beautiful. It's balmy.
Let's let our listeners decide.
Well, look, we'll post a couple of date options. We'll pick some. We'll go from there. It's coming. The club championships is coming. Start practicing.
Well done, Mark Blake. Well done. He better come. He's got to come. He's now tournament director.
Surprise, Mark. Bring your clipboard. Come with me, for a short walk, right? You'll hear the sounds of golf spikes in the background. This week, we're going to talk about what we are working on, my friends. Now, Lee, I need to know, my friend, how many hours of sleep? How many?
Oh, this is a sleep thing, isn't it? Okay, I'm checking my Whoop now. All right. Have we got a corporate sponsorship with Whoop yet? For those who were listening, I did 4.9 hours average for 12 months. Apparently, that's not good for you. So this week, Tommy, I'm happy to report that my sleep average has been 5 hours and 50 minutes average.
So we're up by an hour.
That's pretty good. Is that good?
Yeah. Well, you're up by 20%.
You don't sound confident about that. But
no, that's good.
Look, 5 hours and 50 minutes. Yeah.
Is it going to extend your life? No. Is it better than last week? Yes. So, progress.
Okay, we're getting better. Yes, I'm not going to say the word, but I'm heading in the right direction.
Here's your turn to lay it back on me, my friend. How many double bogeys did we have this week?
Tommy, how many double bogeys did you have this week?
I played one round and I had 3 double bogeys.
Oh, you're a disgrace.
I'm not
3 double bogeys. Okay. Well, we move on. 5.5 hours is not a great amount of sleep. 3 double bogeys is not great either. At least we've got a baseline.
I think we get a
you need those new irons, mate.
For effort. That's it. I need some new irons. And I think we get a pass mark for effort this week, but not for outcome. And that's okay. Back to the drawing board. We reload. We try again.
Okay. We move on. I love it.
All right.
Well,
now, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming into a really exciting part of the podcast. What you are about to hear is a conversation where Lee and I sat down with Chandler Carr. Chandler is he's a product designer from Taylormade, right? He is heavily involved in the production of their new drivers and some of their older drivers and some of their new equipment. So please grab some popcorn, make yourself a nice cold drink, stay in the car if you're parked out the front at work, and come along and have a listen to Chandler answer some of the questions like, is this new driver, how can drivers be 10% longer every year? Why is this new driver better than last year's driver? What sort of technology is in this thing and how does it all work? So if you're
why do you release them every 12 months?
Exactly. Like us,
yep.
Yeah, exactly. Why do you bring new stuff out every 12 months? come along, have a listen from one of the people who is heavily involved in it and really gets it and understands it. So if that's your thing, please stay tuned. Chandler, we're looking forward to hearing from you. Let's go.
Here we are. We're back. Lee Hunt, Tom to Jersey, and we've got a special guest today, Chandler Carr from Taylormade, all the way from the US of A. Chandler, welcome to the pod, and a big thank you for coming on, mate.
Yeah, how are you guys doing? Thanks for having me. It's been a long time since I've seen you guys, and it's good to catch up. So I'm excited to dig into it here.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I think the last time we caught up, we had a game of golf in Vegas together at, I can't quite remember the course, was it Bali High or something like that? So,
it was.
Yeah, we had a great day there. So, now Chandler, tell everybody what your role is at Taylormade. Tell us all about yourself.
So I'm a global product manager for Metalwoods, and essentially I'm on the product creation team. So it's really our job to help kind of steer the ship in terms of what we make, when we make it, and just make sure that we're doing all the right things to make golfers happy at the end of the day. I think it's, we have to make sure Tiger Woods is happy, and we got to make sure someone who's brand new to the game is just as happy. So we're talking with customers, we're talking with players, we're talking with you guys, just to try to make the world's best product. And every day is another journey, so it's always good.
That's pretty exciting. Is it? I know it's pretty hard to keep people happy, but is Tiger easy to keep happy?
Well, I haven't had a lot of personal time with him, but I know he's very particular and he knows exactly what he likes. And I think he's definitely one of those golfers where he has a strong opinion, and those opinions matter. When you're arguably one of the best golfers on the planet, you're going to listen. So
he's had a fair career, hasn't he? Well, he almost hits it as good as Tommy. Don't you think, Tommy? You hit it pretty good.
No, he is in a complete class of his own. I just cannot imagine. I cannot fathom Chandler having to keep Tiger Woods and somebody who comes to the game this year happy at the same time. That is a very broad scope for you as a job. That's wild.
Yeah, we have to look at every aspect. If I only make clubs for professionals, then the person who's just getting into the game, which ultimately pays the bills, for lack of better words, we got to make sure they're almost more important in my eyes as someone who's just joining the game. So it's crazy to think about that, but the husband and wife picking up the game, going to see Lee to get a lesson. I mean, they're almost more important in some cases. So
love that. Cool. Absolutely love that.
It's nice for me as a competent hacker to hear that Taylormade cares about me. That's cool. I love that. That's nice insight.
We care about everybody here.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. All right. Now, Chandler, we have a couple of questions for you. Where we'd like to start, if you don't mind, is we'd love for you to tell us about the new heads. This year, Taylormade's gone to 4 heads, which is a little bit different to what they've done previously, is my understanding, with the QI35. To start with, can you tell us a little bit about the QI35? How did you guys get to this product? Tell us about the 4 new heads, if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure. I'll start off with just telling you what the name means, because I think that's a part of the story too. Because we had QI10, and you would probably say arguably that QI10 was probably one of the best years that we've had from a performance standpoint on tour. With Scotty Scheffler just tearing it up, and Nelly Korda, and the list of other players that just completely dominated. I think it's important to know that we couldn't have asked for a better year. And the hard part for us is, how do we top that? So we wanted to make sure that QI35 didn't live in the shadows of QI10, but had its own identity. And with that, the 3 in 35 stands for form, function, and fit, right? So the 3 things that kind of bring you into the product. And then 5 stands for really 5 ways to optimize the golfer. And that means, 4 models to choose from, and our select fit head, which pairs right into that fitting narrative that we're telling. So there's a lot going on here this year.
That's pretty cool. Absolutely. I've always wondered how you come up with the names. I knew what you were just saying there. That makes a lot of sense to me now. You would, and that's a question I get a lot. How do they name the club? So that's great. I will
say naming is probably one of the hardest things we do, believe it or not. I know it sounds simple, QI10 or QI35 or whatever the next one's going to be called. But it's arguably sometimes one of the most difficult things we do is to name something. We can make it work and look good, but what do we call this thing? And sometimes we got to get pretty creative. So, and that's always a fun part and really a big challenge for us too. But I can take you through the models if you guys want to know about it.
Yeah, tell us about the 4 models, please. Yeah.
I got some in front of me here too. So we'll start off with the LS and kind of work our way up in forgiveness, right? So we have the QI35 LS, which is really our tour-inspired product, traditional shape, and we're going through basically different levels of mass optimization to give golfers really the most optimum ball speed, launch, and spin rates through lower CG projection. CG projection is a line or a term that will be used throughout the entire lineup. So just kind of think about that as we talk about these products. But CG projection is where the center of gravity is on the face, perpendicular to the loft, if that makes sense. So the lower I can get the CG on the face, the longer, straighter drives that I can produce. Those shots that you hit a little bit above center, and they just seem to fly high, and they don't have a ton of spin. And
knuckleball shot.
Exactly. And if I can have more of the face be able to do that, that means, it's not about necessarily chasing a faster face, but it's a more optimized face for better launch and spin conditions. So that's really the recipe from a function standpoint that's allowing these drivers to work. But QI35 LS, our low spin model, most adjustability, and really for those golfers who want this traditional low launch product, right? So that's going to be your, guys like Lee might be playing this driver. I think it's a good product. But then we have our core model, our standard model, this QI35, and this product is ultimately geared for the masses. This product can fit a tour player, and this product can fit the brand new golfer, right? So 460 cc's, but we have this new high inertia shape that we're using this year. So it's that bigger kind of max shape we introduced with QI10, but now we have levels of you're upwards of 9K inertia with this product, but you can also have low spin characteristics just like the LS. So this is like you get your cake and eat it too. This is, super forgiveness with low spin, or just flat out forgiveness. And I think this standard model is going to fit a ton of golfers. And then we got Max, QI35 Max. Max is, I call it the trunk slammer. You guys know what that means down there?
The trunk slammer.
Yeah.
No.
So the trunk slammer, I use that term for someone who doesn't even have time to warm up. They're going right from the parking lot to the first tee.
Oh,
that's Tommy. Yes. That's the Tommy. That's the Tommy driver.
I am occasionally this guy.
They're telling you to check in for them because you don't even have enough time.
That is the Tommy.
Yeah. So this driver is 10K inertia. It's super. This is our most forgiving product. And this is for the golfers who say, just give me forgiveness. However, this product is now, I fit guys into our Max product this year that have 177 mile per hour ball speed. So we've tweaked our Max product to work with now better players as well. So you could be really fast and really bad. A Max driver might be really good for you this year. This is not just your slow swing speed forgiveness product. I keep telling people, don't be afraid to put Max in people's hands, even if they got some speed, because we changed how Max works by moving that CG projection lower on the face. So less spin, more forgiveness. This thing's a champion right here. I really like it.
Okay, just quickly on that one, Chandler. I think traditionally the Max has been the anti-slice driver. Maybe with you guys, but definitely with other manufacturers. That's very cool that there are some seriously good golfers with high ball speeds in that, and it's not just the draw club. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. So I would rather have, if I make a draw biased driver, guess what? If I take all the weight of the part of the driver and I move it to the heel to make the face close faster, I've actually I've now made less MOI, and I've made a less forgiving driver just to correct the slice. But I want a driver for any scenario, whether you hook it, you slice it, you hit it high, you hit it low. So forgiveness to me trumps just one shot shape correction. So this is not a draw bias driver. This is a do everything great driver.
That's a really good point, Chandler. I get that on the fitting tee a lot. There'd be people who hit low snipes, hooks, and they struggle. They struggle, and we want to put them in a max, the old max, and it does the same. It's easy to hit, but it goes left. So that's great to hear that.
Yeah, exactly. I think Max is definitely one of those products, and the entire lineup is really well thought out, and there's a wide range of players that can fit in all of the models. And then we have Max Light. I don't have one here to show you guys, but Max Light is for those who maybe can benefit from a total lightweight build, meaning that the shaft, the grip, the head, everything is lighter. So we got some new components and a lighter head mass to really get you like a 45 3/4 inch driver, but at like C8 swing weight. So that way it's not too heavy.
Wow.
So if you have people that, could benefit from lightweight, we have an option there too. So we're really playing in all the spaces now versus just trying to do one thing good. We have a lot of options, and options are what we need at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Awesome. So 4 new heads. We've hit them all. I hit them all. Lee has been fitted as well, so he's hit most of them. I think one of the biggest things that stood out to us, Lee used the term separation, and kind of what you're just saying there. There's 4 heads that do 4 really different jobs, and you can, with those 4, it seems like you'd be able to find a fit for any player.
Yeah, if you can't get fit into our product, maybe you need to go get a lesson. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. It's definitely one of those things where we got something for everybody.
The new QI35 tennis racket or something like that.
Yeah, that what? Maybe we need to get into that space a little bit.
You need a new sport. Yeah.
Maybe pickleball. I don't know if you guys have
pickleball. Pickleball. Pickleball.
That seems to be the.
It's starting to get big here.
Yeah, it's huge.
Okay, next question we have for you, Chandler. Lee and I noticed something when we were hitting the new heads. One of the biggest things we noticed is the changes to the face. There's kind of like a new pattern on the face. And you mentioned the fitting head as part of the 5 of the QI35.
Yes.
We've been told that there have been some changes that have been made to help with the fitting process and to get players a better fit. What's changed? Why has the head pattern changed or the face pattern changed? Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll start off with saying that we are the only company in the industry that can do this because we have carbon face. The carbon face allows us to get creative with how we provide the right tools for the fitter to do the right job. So you guys are all familiar with TrackMan and GC Quad, obviously the two most prevalent launch monitors in the world of fitting. I know Lee, you're a TrackMan guy, and I know everyone has GC Quads, and I think there's a lot of options out there to get fit, and people are leaning into getting fit. However, because we have a carbon face, we can actually embed what's called a reflective fitting marker into the face. So if you're using a camera-based system like a GC Quad, this is where it gets really complicated, so bear with me here. So every driver, and I'm going to try to put it on my screen here so you guys can see, every driver has what's called bulge and roll. Bulge is the heel toe, and roll is the top and bottom. And if you ever look at the user manual of a GC Quad, they tell you to put the stickers on the face to kind of generalize how the shaft is being captured through the system. However, every driver is different, whether it be our driver or somebody else's. By where you put those dots could potentially give you bad data. So I use the analogy better data, better fit. And it allows us to basically precisely put those reflective fitting markers in the correct location relative to the software so it knows to give you the most accurate data possible. And within that, we're able to roll out some new fitting methodology that allows the golfer to fit not just with ball data. We know what ball data is: launch, spin, and speed, and distance. That's one part of the fitting scenario. And I'm going to lean in on the instruction side a little bit too, but there's also a fitting narrative about how you swing. So how Tommy, how you swing, or how Lee, you swing, or how I swing, we're all different. And there's no right or wrong with that. It's how you swing, and finding a shaft profile or finding a head or a weighting mechanism to work with how you swing to have a better fit. So it's really having this other dimension of fitting so that we can tell a better story and ultimately benefit the golfer and the fitter who's actually fitting the golfer to be more efficient in that. So we're just providing a better tool for everyone to use.
That's very cool tech. That's very cool tech.
Yeah, so we're the world's first launch monitor enabled driver. So if you want to get specific.
That's unreal. I love that. And it's very cool that Taylormade has been criticized about the carbon face before. It's really cool, I suppose, to see that there's a really clear reason why you guys do that and it gives you options. I didn't know that. That's unreal.
Yeah, because those fitting markers are actually embedded in the face, not just placed on top of it. They're actually inside the carbon face, so they're never going to go away. They're always there on the fitting heads. So you don't, as a fitter, you don't have to either replace these dots or worry if you got them in the wrong place or maybe question the data that you're getting. It's already
they end up everywhere, those reflective dots. I know that I had a GC once upon a time myself, not the quad, but the GC2. Mm-hmm. And I used to always question where to put those silver dots, always.
Yep.
So when this came out, for me, it resonated with me because I thought, okay, well, maybe I wasn't going crazy because I thought if anybody could put the dots anywhere, it can't be correct. So,
you're spot on there too with identifying the fact that now there's that you're getting rid of the question or maybe the uncertainty of did I do this right? And then now if you're getting bad data, now how are you going to have a good fit? So
yeah, you can't have a good fit if you haven't got the correct data, and that's so true. That's so true. So that made sense to me. How are you working it in with TrackMan with the radar system?
Yeah, really good question too. And I think the call to action and the thing that everyone's going to see are the fitting markers on the face. For lack of better words, those are called fiducials. If you want the real technical term, not a fun word to say. But
fiducials.
Yeah, fiducials. You can call them whatever you want, but we call them fiducials. For TrackMan,
I like that.
That's a radar-based system that's basically emitting waves through space, and it's tracking the driver through space. Really good for capturing ball data. Not necessarily as good for capturing head data, like impact location, path, angle of attack, things like that. But now we've actually integrated our CAD data. So the actual CAD of this driver is embedded into their software. So if you select our driver, it knows exactly where to look, but then, and as a result, provides more accurate face data. And then when partnered with our MFE app, that'll allow the system basically to provide the most accurate impact or head data because the CAD is actually in their software. So it's pretty cool.
That's fantastic, isn't it? That's great to see a company thinking about so strongly about the fitting process, not just about pumping drivers out there at a price point, just actually caring. Because I guess for me, or thinking back to the companies, if people are getting a bad fit, ultimately that comes back to you as the supplier, doesn't it? Like at Taylormade, people, when they hit a bad shot on the third hole of the day, they go, I hate my Taylormade driver. You know what I mean? So we need to make sure people get fitted correctly.
Yep. It's a reflection on us as a brand, the account that you spent a lot of money with to buy these drivers.
Correct. Yeah, it's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
We've taken the responsibility to make sure that we not only make the best product for the golfer, but make the best product for the fitter. And that's going to benefit the accounts. That's going to benefit you. That's going to make sure that, we're giving the right thing to the right golfer at the right time. And
perfect.
Yeah. So it's been really pretty rewarding to see this in action already.
I'm excited to get started with it. I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear what you think too when you get it.
Yeah.
Oh, we had a lot of fun hitting them. So I can only imagine Lee's going to have a lot of fun watching more people hit them, right?
I just want to get another 20 meters off the tee and go straight. If you could just design a driver to do that for me, that'd be great.
Meters or yards? I only work in yards.
Sorry, we'll go, yards. Okay, let's go with yards.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, those meters kind of, metric system.
They throw you off. Okay, now one of the questions we have for you is, I think the number one the number one question a lot of golfers have is, you've just released a driver last year. Now you're releasing another driver this year. How much can it really improve? And now I'm not really I'm not on the inside of the world of golf. So Chandler, is the design cycle a year with a driver head? Do you put more time and energy into it than a year? And then I suppose the next question is the QI35 that much better than last year's model, the QI10? I'd love for you to kind of chat through that a bit for us if you could.
Yeah, Tommy, I'm going to straight up say that this year's driver is arguably one of the best drivers that we've ever made in history, and I can say that confidently for a few reasons. First and foremost, I do want to talk about form really quick. That's just the beauty of the product. The beauty of that product, we spend a ton of time on. I actually work in an area with a lot of industrial designers that we sweat those little details, the finish of the product, how they all come together, the decals, the laser engraving on the weight, the tones of the product, how the decals sit and look. To me, this is so important because I'm a big believer in love at first sight, both with golf and also in my personal life. I do think it's important to know that when you pick something up, you have to like the way it looks. You have to like the way it looks. So we spend a ton of time to make sure this looks good, right? If you like the way it looks, then it's like, okay, let's go hit it. And then, we spend decades on some of these technologies. Like when we launched Stealth and we brought carbon face for the first time, that was a 20-year deal. We knew that we wanted to move weight by getting rid of the titanium face, but how do we do it in a way that not only helps Tiger Woods play better, but also helps, the brand new golfer play better as well. So to directly answer your question, if I'm starting over and designing a brand new driver, it could be 3-4 years before we actually have a final product in our hand, because we do a lot of just testing and trial. So we are like right now, just to be quite frank with you, as my job as a product line manager, I'm worried about the product that's still in marketplace. So QI10, I just launched QI35. I'm thinking about 2027 and 28. So
that's amazing, isn't it? That's cool.
The term that we use in house, and I know you guys are probably okay with this, but I'm in the womb to tomb situation.
Yeah, that's good.
We see it from womb to tomb. So from when it goes out of the market or to when we kind of give birth to it, we are thinking about every aspect of our product line from conception through when it's out of market. So yeah, we're invested in it. So just to directly answer your question, it's to make this driver right here in my hands took us a few years to get here.
Womb to tomb, I like that. Cradle to grave. Yeah, I like it. I
like womb to tomb.
It's a little bit longer, isn't it? Yeah.
It's so good. Now, I definitely agree with you there, Chandler, on this being the best driver you guys have put out. I hit the LS in a 9 degree, and I normally play a 10. I hit my longest ever carry with a shaft that wasn't mine within about 3 or 4 swings. This thing's beast. I'm seriously impressed. I don't know how you guys do it.
Yeah, we're always, we're never happy. I guess for the lack of better words, we are never satisfied. We're like, yes, we did it. We created a driver and it's perfect. Perfect is never good enough for us. And that's what kind of makes us tick on really all aspects of our business, is that we're never
never done.
Never done. That's been kind of our tagline internally, that we're always pushing for more. I think golfers inherently are that way. And
oh man, we're tinkerers, aren't we?
I've got a big photo of Tiger Woods in my golf shop. And Chandler, you would have seen it at the warehouse in Melbourne of Tiger standing on the side of the green. Well, I've got that in my golf shop.
Oh, nice.
And it's got that never done, and I love that. Yep. I think that's just always hungry, and then that goes across all aspects of life, I think.
Oh, you're spot on with that, Lee. I think it's one of those things where, I made a birdie, but now I want to go make another one, or how do you just continue to improve? So.
Yeah, I love it.
I think it's a quintessential or an essential part of golf, right? Is you could always be better.
now we're getting philosophical here. Now it's turning.
We're getting off
We're
track.
going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, we're getting sappy here, which is good though.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Let me get the tissues. Yeah.
Enough sentimentality. On to the next question. Chandler, we would love you, if you have any ideas, to run us through what you think the single greatest leap in driver technology has been in the last 5 years. What do you reckon?
The last 5 years, right? So I gotta go carbon face, right? I know if we're talking the last 5 years with the introduction of, saying goodbye to titanium faces and saying, carbon face is the future. There was doubters out there, and I think there still are doubters out there that we believe that this technology is the foundation and cornerstone of our product, and nobody else can do it better than us. There are a couple companies out there trying to make a carbon face driver. I think they're in Japan mostly in small volume, but the way that we do it, the expertise that we put behind it, and to make sure that it performs at the highest level, no one else can touch. And I would say for us, it's that carbon face truly is a groundbreaking technology that is exclusive to us, and we're always going to try to make it better. And I think even with this one, our 4th generation face, we're in a really, really good spot. So,
okay, that ties us into our next. That ties us into our next question. Without giving away too many spoilers, because I know you said you're thinking about 2027, 2028. Where do you see driver design going in the next 5 years?
I kind of know where it's going, but I don't.
Yeah, I think we just figured out he already knows.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, right, if I'm going to, generalize that statement, I do think, there's rules and boundaries set up by the governing bodies, right? We have to abide by the rules. We are not a manufacturer who creates non-conforming product. We are a premium manufacturer who makes the best performing product on the planet. We're going to play by the rules. We're going to find ways around those rules, if we have to make products that are leaps and bounds better. And I think at the end of the day, finding ways to eke out every little bit of performance, whether through mass optimization, material science, aerodynamic benefits, I think the possibilities are endless, but we're never going to I hate to say it again, but we're never done again. And I think there's still opportunity here, even within the current infrastructure, to find ways to make golfers better. And it's ultimately the goal, is to make golfers better. I don't know if I answered your question, but I do think that
it's a hard question to answer now that you know what's coming or you've got an idea. So
look, I'm disappointed you didn't tell me the name and color of the 2026
I know.
driver.
I know.
I suppose it's a tricky question to answer in your shoes.
I definitely don't want to get fired.
That's a tough one. You don't want to get sacked on some backwater podcast in Australia. Yeah, but we are international now. We're international now.
Yeah, next year, sign me up, and then I'll tell you what we did. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just throw a calendar invite.
Yeah, and you'll be like, now to answer your question from last year. Okay, next thing from us, Chandler. Next thing from us, we'd love to know what your non-negotiables are when you're designing a driver head, or when the team are designing a driver head. What are the things that you absolutely cannot do without?
So, great question, and I love this question because I think non-negotiables really lean into the tour feedback that we have. We have arguably the best athletes on the planet that play our product. Tiger, we talked a lot about him already. Scotty Scheffler. I mean, how do you not ignore the feedback that Scotty Scheffler gives you? Tommy Fleetwood, Roy McIlroy, Nelly Korda. And I think the non-negotiables for me is making sure that they're taken care of and they feel that they have a product that they feel confident in, or we've increased their confidence in. So as an example, shaping, right? We spend a lot of time about the shape of a driver. So if I'm holding up this driver in my hand right now, once again, going back to love at first sight, you put this driver down behind the ball, you're on the first tee, and everyone's watching you tee off. And if you don't like the way this driver looks behind the ball, I've kind of already lost you a little bit. So I think it's important, shaping's a non-negotiable. I think how the product looks is non-negotiable. It's got to be inspiring. It's got to be perfect.
So no square-headed drivers coming? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we're probably not going to be doing a square. Actually, I'm going to tell you right now, Lee, we're not doing a square driver. So
world exclusive. You heard it here first.
Thank God.
Yeah, but a non-negotiable for me is pushing boundaries, is not being afraid to take risks. I know it's not but shaping is for one, inspiring the golfer is another, and being able to take a risk. I think a lot of companies and a lot of other industry as well are not afraid to take a risk for the sake of improvement. And to me, that's a non-negotiable, is to what can we continue to do better? What can we be finding ways to make these products better through material science, through just golfer feedback, I think is important. I've spent a lot of times with a lot of golfers, and they're pretty opinionated. Like, they'll tell you what you like and don't like, and we got to articulate that and take that feedback in and make it right. So
I love that. That's awesome.
I know
Constantly getting better is the kind of the theme.
Yes, Tommy Fleetwood was an interesting one, because when we're talking about the crown color of our drivers, he was, he actually didn't like the gloss black. It's like we had on QI10, the gloss black crown. He said he could see the gallery in the reflection of the crown. So when people are moving around a little bit, that could be a distraction.
Oh, wow.
So we've uncovered, just even in the finish of the color, to make sure we get rid of those reflections or hot spots, to make sure that when he's over the ball, the only thing he's thinking about is hitting that fairway or hitting the golf shot that he wants to hit. So that was
I love the piano black, but I love the piano black, but I guess nobody's following me around.
Well, our designer series is piano black. We have a all gloss version series. I'm actually holding it in my hand here, but we do have that. It's on our website now, and I know it's coming later. I think it's going to be landing probably in March. But we do have, but we're telling the world now that we have it. So if you do like the black, Lee, we got you covered.
Yeah, I love that. It'll be landing in my bag.
Perfect.
So for those of us who are walking around with nobody watching us play, there's a model for us too.
You are Tommy. That's spot on right there.
The boot slammer or the trunk slammer.
Yeah, sorry.
Trunk slammer.
The trunks.
I'm gonna have.
You should have said boot. Yeah, but
that's I'm gonna have a lot of trouble shaking that nickname. That's gonna haunt me.
Yeah, that's you.
My God.
Tommy the trunk slammer.
Okay. Chandler, we'd love to ask you what your biggest challenges have been over the last little while with Taylormade, with developing the metal woods and working on this. What are the things that you've really struggled with, or have been the hardest to overcome for you guys?
Good question. I think that's interesting, because I think it comes down to timing. A lot of the cases, that's always we're always up against the clock, right? We know. Going back to your question earlier about, we launch product on a yearly cycle for our metalwoods. Some people would criticize us a long time ago, back in like maybe the R9 or R7 era, that we were launching drivers every 6 months. We've slowed it down, right? Our game improvement irons, we're on a 2-year cycle. Our P series irons are on a 2-year cycle. Drivers, we're on a 1-year cycle. And I think, well, we know it's getting game time and we're trying to rally around the finish line here. That's when things start heating up a little bit. We've done the development, we've done the testing. We've got plenty of time for that. But when times to go to market, what are we going to say? What are the words we're going to say? What are the stories that we're going to want to bring to life? And I think sometimes that can be quite challenging for us, is, going back to the name of the product. What do we call this thing, right? Those are... Hey, we're launching a driver in 6 months that we've named, or that we've figured out how it works, but what do we call it? Those are awkwardly challenging, and I think it's kind of goes sight unseen sometimes to the general consumers, that we launch a polished product, but we're scraping to the finish line sometimes, and that's tough, but we always make it work.
That's nerve-wracking, that name thing. I never really thought about that. I know that. We got a new dog and we stressed over what name we're going to call the dog. Yeah. So I can't imagine how you feel about this driver that goes to these millions of golfers around the world, and Tiger Woods and Tommy and Scotty Scheffler. And so I never thought of it that way, but I'll definitely think of it that way next time.
It's kind of like naming your kid, right? When you think about it, you spent a lot of time making this thing. Then when it comes time to, oh man, this kid's going to be here in a few days. Like, what do we call it?
Yeah. What are you going to call it?
Yeah.
And I suppose every man and their dog will then give their unsolicited feedback about the name you've chosen for your child. That's a scary thought too.
Yeah.
Everybody's an expert. Yeah.
Oh, you named it
Yeah,
Chandler.
absolutely.
That's the new QI Chandler coming to you.
I know
them.
2027.
I really want to see the Max be called the Trunk Slammer, though. Like, if you could just change the Max to the QI Trunk Slammer, I think that's got legs.
Yeah. Maybe I'll put Trunk Slammer right on the face. Like, instead of carbon, we'll call it Trunk Slammer for you.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Or
Okay,
boot stammer,
one more
sorry.
thing. We got one more thing for you, Chandler.
What do we got? I'm ready.
I need to know who chooses the color of the driver. Is it the engineers? Is it marketing? Who has the final say?
It's Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, he could have been any matte color, right? He just didn't like the gloss, right?
It's bloody Tommy.
Who makes that decision?
Yeah, so the color is an interesting one, and I will say the feedback, and you guys tell me, but the feedback I think on this launch has gone over really well. Would you say that we kind of knocked it out of the park with the cosmetics with this product?
Yeah, it's pretty sexy. It's I reckon it's pretty good. I love it.
The underside of the head, I feel like it feels like a fighter jet. Like it's that like cool gray, like almost military style. I wasn't sure about the top, like the crown, until I stood over the ball. And then I was like, oh, I actually really like this. This feels really good. So
it's got some shelf appeal.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. And as soon as it's in your hands, it's delightful.
So to answer your question about who picks the color, I would say that comes down to our product creation team and really a collaborative effort. We lean on our industrial designers. We have some extremely talented people here that kind of bring these ideas to life, and then it kind of works its way up the food chain a little bit. So Brian Basil, our VP of product creation, so he's my boss's boss. He's kind of the ultimate gatekeeper, and he will solicit feedback from our CEO, David Ableys, or some of our commercial group guys, and it's a collaborative effort. And I think it's one of those things where we could lay out, here's 5 different options for you to pick from. And then you also at the same time have to be careful with, kind of ruling by committee. Sometimes if someone feels very passionate about a particular color, sometimes we got to take the risk. And sometimes we have to maybe go against the grain a little bit. And I think this might have been one of those situations where we were maybe, I don't want to say fought on making this decision, but it was a little controversial. And I think when people got it in their hands and they see it and they think that this thing just looks damn good. And I think everyone's kind of holding hands on this, but DA, our CEO, Brian Basil, and the rest of the group, we all start liking something and we all just kind of say, yep, that's what it is. We're going to do it. So it's a collaborative effort ultimately. But we definitely have those decision-making guys at the top. Definitely their opinion matters. And we always go all the way up the food chain for that one.
Awesome. Well, I've done well. You've done well on this one. I know I like the piano black, Chandler, but
we got you, Lee.
You've got me covered, so I appreciate that. You've got the Trunk Slammer for Tommy.
We've got everything.
Sounds like you got everybody covered. But no, thank you. No, Chandler, thank you so much for coming on. We do appreciate you coming on and having someone with your expertise on the pod. And I'm sure everybody who listens to this will really enjoy the insight because I learned a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I learned a lot. A great insight on how it's all produced. And we look forward to maybe coming over one day and visiting you at the Kingdom and having a game of golf. So
I'm always down for that as long as you don't judge my golf swing.
You're a good player. I still remember the day we played. We had a good time. You played well. So
it was well. I managed to hold it together just for you, Lee.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I tend to put a lot of pressure on people. Apparently, yeah.
Okay, hold on. I actually do want to say one thing real quick. The hardest part about my job is playing golf with other people.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Because you're like, hey, you did a really good job making this product, but how good of a golfer are you? And then they see you hit, you're like, okay, hold on, I
okay.
as good as the product.
I get that. Well, maybe when we come over to visit, you take us forward driving. I know you like going out forward driving.
You know what's funny? I was telling the guys in the Australian office that I wanted to drive across the entire continent of Australia.
Oh, mate.
That's such an American thing to say.
You got snakes and spiders and all sorts of things that'll kill you. And you want to do that? And I said, absolutely. So like I spent a lot of my time in the desert and off-roading and getting in the bush a little bit. That was a word, by the way, bush.
Bush, is that one of those words? Yeah, good job.
I have another one too, but I'm not sure if I'm ready to use it yet. But
there's still time.
Yeah.
I do have to pick up a Batchy's handbag on the way down. So
a bachelor's handbag.
Yeah.
The cook chook. I love it.
Yeah.
I like it. The bachelor's handbag. I love that.
You have to get that, and maybe go play. I don't know if I can say it. Maybe play the Bricky's laptop on the way home.
On the
pokies. On the poker machines.
Yeah.
Whoever gave me these words has done a fantastic job.
Ricky's laptop. I like it. Yeah.
That's Australiana cool right there. I love it.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Chandler, mate.
Yeah.
We've hit the end of the time that we've allotted to spend with you. So thank you so much for your generosity, for your insight, I suppose, and your expertise into and providing us shining some light onto what goes into producing the new Taylormade metalwood heads. We're so excited to get them in the bag and have a game with them. Yeah, glad to help you guys out. And I'm an open book. If you want to do this again, you just let me know and I'm ready to do it. So
we'll definitely take you up on that.
That is a dangerous offer. See you same time next week.
See you same time next week. Yeah.
Thanks for being flexible with my schedule too. I know it's Saturday for you guys right now, right?
Yeah, no, it's currently lunchtime Saturday at my club, and I've got I should be calling the field, but that's okay. My members will be listening to this and they'll appreciate it. So,
perfect.
Yeah.
Chandler, absolute pleasure. Thanks for your time, mate, and thanks for coming along, getting involved.
Yeah, thanks, Melanie. Appreciate it.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah,
good on you.